Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. My battery is kind of acting funny, so if it shuts off, you guys should be used to that because every time I record, it always seems to do weird things. But I want to talk a little bit about the breast cancer awareness. And the month of October is the breast cancer awareness month. Breast cancer prevention, they do the breast cancer race for the cure. And I just want to touch on the fact that I'm all for, I'm 200% on board with, you know, looking for a cure. But have you stopped to think about the billions of dollars? How many years have they been doing this Susan Komen breast cancer walk? And I know they do recognize other types of cancer, but if you notice, like, it's a big nationwide thing. Like, they have this big event, they have like the race, the walk. It's just a huge day for breast cancer. And there are so many other types of cancer that people are being diagnosed with, people are struggling with, suffering, people are in treatment, and people are dying every day, probably every hour. And my issue is, I used to do the walks every year. When my sister died of breast cancer in 1997, she died of breast cancer. She was 39, and she was diagnosed at age 27 with breast cancer. Her and my mom were both diagnosed within the same year. My mom was 47, and it was opposite sides and different types of breast cancer. So my sister battled it for 12 years. She did try to get help or assistance for different things during her treatment and during the process of the cancer being in remission and then coming back and then metastasizing. And she did reach out to the American Cancer Society. They weren't able to help her in some areas. I don't remember specifically what she was seeking help for, but they weren't able to help her for some reason. My mom is a 35 plus year cancer survivor, and she has to wear a prosthesis. My sister had breast cancer. My sister had breast reconstructive surgery because she was only 27, and that's devastating at any age. But my mom didn't have the reconstructive surgery, so my mom has had to wear a prosthesis on the one side, which is like almost like a gel type insert that you put inside a special bra that they make for those, so that you're not lopsided. And it's still at that, they shift and stuff, so you still have to kind of be aware and adjust it from time to time. But my whole point is that billions and billions of dollars have been raised every year for a cure. It's race for a cure. And I see all these people going, to the big walk and the big race. And, people are going, and I had shirts made like in memory of, and for my sister, and then also walking for my mom. And then of course I'm high risk, and I did have some atypical cells last year that they had to remove, that were precancerous cells, had the potential to become cancer. So I'm high risk. I've been high risk for years. I have to have a mammogram every year, and now because I have the atypical cells, and some cysts, that they want me to have an MRI along with the mammogram every year. And you also have to do self exams. But I have fibrocystic tissue in my breast, so sometimes if I feel something, like, I don't know if it's a lump or or what. They say that it'll feel almost like a rock if you feel something, but so it's hard if you have fibrocystic tissue. So just be careful and try to check yourself, and if not, go to the doctor. And you have to be insistent and you have to be proactive, and doctors will try to tell you that, you know, you don't need a mammogram till you're 40, and that's not true. I know they don't like to do mammograms, you know, if you don't have a family history of it. But if you feel off about something, or you just, maybe you felt something in your breast, insist that they do a mammogram. Don't let them tell you, oh, they told my sister it was a milk deposit. The first doctor she saw, they said it was a milk deposit from when she was pregnant. And, you know, you have the breast milk, and they said it was just like a milk lump or deposit that was left, and it would just like eventually like dissolve or whatever. And something didn't feel right with that, so she went and saw another doctor, and they did a biopsy, and sure enough, it was like stage 3 going into stage 4 maybe. And she took the holistic method of healing, so she didn't have any chemo. I think she might have had a little radiation, but she really believed, you know, with all her heart, that God was going to heal her, and she was going to be healed, and God was not going to take her away from her children. And ultimately, you know, it metastasized and just spread everywhere in her body. But that's not my point. My point is, where is the billions of dollars that's been raised? You know, we have people with cancer that are doing these walks. You see women, you know, who are currently in treatment doing the walks, you know, and they don't have any hair, and, you know, bless their hearts. Like, you know, everybody is, I know it's not just me, and I'm not being insensitive. I'm just being real. Like, you know, I'm a realist for the most part. And why not be real? Like, why live in darkness, and why live in like a fairy tale world, when in actuality there is a cure? They have a cure for cancer, but you have to realize that cancer is a moneymaker. Cancer is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, moneymaker for insurance companies. And where's the billions of dollars going? Like, what's being tested? Where's that money going? Look how many years they've been doing this walk, and other ways that they raise money. It's not just the walk, but, you know, do you want to donate to this? Do you want to, I think every time you buy something at the store that's like a breast cancer ribbon, or pins, or, you know, shirts or hats, you know, some of those proceeds go to, I guess, American Cancer Society, I'm guessing. But there are other cancers. You know, I'm a cancer survivor of colorectal cancer. And I always seem to miss, I guess if I got really into, you know, keeping up with when they have these walks, the ones that I know about that they've done for colorectal cancer are like, you meet at this big park, you know, it's not broadcasted all over the news. They don't have pre-registration all over the news where you sign up, you get a number, you buy a shirt. And if they do, you only hear about it like behind the scenes, or if you just happen to be in the right place at the right time, or maybe you're involved, or you're a part of a group, or you know, I don't go to groups. I should go to groups. I should go to support groups. There's a lot of things I should do, but I don't, because I have my own ways of dealing and coping with the side effects that I'm left with long term, lifelong side effects from the damage of the cancer and damage from the cancer treatments. So my issue is, and my question is, where is the money? Where are the billions of dollars going? How many more billions of dollars need to be made before the cure is found. The cure is never going to be found. The cure is never going to be found. That's a fact. People are going to die. I mean, we're all probably going to all be gone. There still won't be a cure because it's a moneymaker. I would not want to be one of the people in the cancer research or anything dealing with cancer and testing, and do they they say, oh, they've tested years ago. I remember hearing them talking about testing on mice, and that these mice reacted to this treatment that was like a cure. I mean, what happened to that? Like, that just got pushed aside. You haven't heard about it anymore. It's the same with AIDS, with HIV. There's a cure. There's a cure for all of that. And I mean, there's a whole, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there's a whole, there's a whole thought on HIV or AIDS being a man-made disease because it's population control. Is it? I don't know. We'll never know. But I just would not want to be one of the people knowing of a cure, knowing there's a cure, knowing that where's that money going? I mean, these people are probably driving obviously Mercedes, Jaguars, Teslas, I mean, Range Rovers. Like, what's the nicest car you can get? Living in $1 million homes. I mean, you guys, come on. We have to be preventative. We have to be aware. I am not saying that if you go do this walk, you're just wasting your time, because if you believe in your heart, like I believed in my heart when I was doing the walks, that, I was actually doing something, I was actually making a difference. And, the money that I paid was actually going towards a cure. Why not? Breast cancer is not even the leading cause of death in women. It's heart disease. And I don't understand why. I don't know. I don't understand why. Every cancer is serious. I don't understand why they put breast cancer. Colorectal cancer is very, very common in women. It's probably one of the highest risk cancers in women is colorectal cancer. I had an office job for probably a total of 35 years. And I sat at a desk, obviously didn't sit, all day for 8 hours, but I had a sitting job. I have a secretary spread to prove that. Did that play a role in it? Maybe. My stomach issues play a role in my colorectal, my family history? Did that, everything plays a role in it, obviously. But make a big deal, out of every type of cancer. And why do you have to be 40 years old to get a mammogram? And why do you have to be 50 years old to get a colonoscopy? And why is there these age requirements? Think about it. Babies are born with cancer. So how do you justify, you're not at that age yet? Like, you're not at risk yet until you get to be this age, 40, or, like men, I don't know, like men with their prostate, like they have to be, 30? I think it's 30 where they're supposed to have, I could be wrong, where they're supposed to have their prostate checked and all that stuff. I understand you can't, do mammograms on everybody, and you can't just go crazy, putting all these waves or, microwave, x-ray stuff into people, radiation. And that's why I have so much damage in my abdomen, and that's why I have so much abdominal pain, is because of all the radiation that I got. But the flip side of that was I had to have the 45 treatments of radiation. I had to have the 6 months of chemotherapy that killed not only my good cells, not only my bad cells, but my good cells, and how long it's taken to regenerate all those. And it's been 5 years since 2012, but it's been 5 years that I've been on this healing journey and trying to heal myself and trying to think positive and meditate and try to manage my stress and pick and choose your battles. And if you eat this, you're gonna, you could get cancer. If you eat that, you could get cancer. And high stress feeds on cancer, or cancer feeds on, you know what I mean. You can get cancer, I guess, if you're high risk, if you're under a lot of stress. Stress feeds cancer, and cancer grows and it becomes cancer and in our bodies. And anything emotional, trauma, I've had a lot of traumas. A lot of other people have probably had a lot of traumas, and that's how they got their cancer. We all have cancer in our bodies. That's just a fact. We all have cancer in our bodies. So, what's going to trigger that wake up cancer? There's really no guarantees. There's really no right answers. There's really no way to know exactly, what activates the cancer and what doesn't. But I just have a problem with this every year, October, pink ribbons, pink shirts, sign up for the race for the cure, don't forget to register, and you can also sleep in for the cure. So if you can't make it to the race, just send your money in and, sleep in, and it goes towards the foundation, the Susan B. Komen Foundation. There are so many other risk factors and so many other different types of cancer that need attention. Okay, I fully agree and I fully support. I can't say I don't support the walk. I do. I support the walk. But it's an insult to cancer patients, to cancer survivors, to people who have lost loved ones to cancer. I just think it's a slap in the face. Here, you can't do this walk, or maybe you can do the walk without paying, but you don't get a shirt, you don't get a number unless you pay X amount of dollars. They should be paying us, people, they should be paying all those billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars that have been made, should be paying for people's treatments, should be paying for people who don't have insurance. I have a friend who died of colorectal cancer. I want to say 2 years ago. She was like 3 years older than me. She was like 55, I think, when she died of colorectal cancer. And she didn't have insurance because she wasn't working enough hours, at her job to have insurance. If you work, I think, under 30 hours or under 35 hours, anything less than 40 hours, you don't get insurance. So I think she was on Medicaid at the time. And because she was on Medicaid at the time, she would have to wait for approvals to go into Medicaid so they could authorize a treatment or a medication or, a surgery or any type of treatment whatsoever. Anyway, long story short, she went through this. It was all within probably about a year and a half of being diagnosed, because she didn't know. She was having stomach cramping and some bleeding and like constipation and stuff. Well, I have irritable bowel syndrome and I've always had stomach problems, which is how they found my cancer. But because she didn't have good insurance, she didn't get good treatment and she didn't get fair treatment. And there's absolutely no excuse for anybody, man or woman, not getting treated because you don't have, good insurance or good insurance coverage, or, your copays are sky high, so you can't afford those billions and billions of dollars need to be paying for radiation, chemotherapy, um, rides. I know they do have rides, to the doctors and to treatments and stuff like that. I know they do. There are services that will pick you up and take you to radiation. A couple times when I couldn't, there was nobody on a couple particular days where I had to go for radiation. I would drive myself sometimes, but I was so weak that I literally, at the time, I had a stick shift, and it literally took all my energy just to shift the gears. And there was a couple times that my radiologist doctor actually said, because I told him I can't do it anymore. I'm so sick. It made me so physically sick. It was worse than the chemo for me. And I told him I can't do anymore. And I think I had like 5 more treatments left. I said, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I am too sick. I am too weak. And he said, I will come pick you up myself and bring you. Just please finish your treatments. Like, and the thought of I just kept thinking, gosh, what if I don't go to those last 5 treatments, and those last 5 treatments would have saved my life? I did finish, thank God. By the grace of God, God gave me the strength to finish. But my point is, where is all that money going? And why are you not raising money for colorectal cancer? Why are you not raising money for heart disease? Why are you not raising money for pancreatic cancer, for brain cancer, for bone cancer, for leukemia? Like, babies are born with cancer. Cancer does not discriminate. And I know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but every month, every day needs to be all types of cancer awareness. It's kind of like hashtag all lives matter. This is like hashtag all forms of cancer matter. Like, don't just pick one cancer and make this big nationwide walks and races. It's on TV, and these poor people. I think I was just lost in the dark for a long time, and I'm not anymore. And I pray and I hope that these people who are going are getting help. I hope they are getting assistance if they need it, with treatments or with I don't know, clothes or wigs, donating wigs and bras and prosthesis and things like that. You shouldn't have to pay. Will your insurance cover this or that? Absolutely not. It's just like, what is it? St. Jude, they don't have to pay for anything. Praise God for that. But there's so much money out there, you guys. Like, there is so much money out there. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. You need to ask those questions. Where is that money? If I do this walk, where is my money going to go? And how am I going to see it? How's it going to help me or help somebody else? Is it going to buy me time? Is it going to give me special treatment, the highest grade of chemo? Because I guarantee you, celebrities or millionaires or billionaires, I'm not saying they get the cure. They might, but they do live a lot longer than your average Joe, your average middle class people, or people who are low income. And when I had to be medically retired, and all I got from the state with the cancer and everything, all I got from the state was $189 a month. And I went from over $3,000 a month of income working to $189 a month for 2.5 years. That's the help I got. That's what the Cancer Society didn't do for me. I should have never had to struggle. I should have had assistance with my bills, if nothing, not all my bills, but at least some type of assistance. $189 I got for the state, from the state. And that was only because I had to go through so much red tape, phone calls, being on hold for hours at a time, being on hold for an hour, and then the phone disconnects. I can't tell you how many hundreds of people that I had to talk to and get through to just to get medical coverage, just to get the right treatments, just to get my medications, because once I lost my insurance from working, I went to Medicaid. What does that do? Medicaid, great, it helped once I got it, but before that, I'm on like 6 different medications. Okay, some of them are not even cancer related, so I have to be on them. I just have to. And I should have never had to struggle the way that I did and be so stressed out worrying about, oh my God, am I going to be homeless? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I applied for disability. I'm waiting for disability. And it took 2.5 years to get my disability, and retirement wouldn't pay me until disability approved me. So praise God the day that I got my disability and then my retirement kicked in. But it's like people will just like kick you while you're down. They will kick you while you're down. And man, when you get that cancer diagnosis, I cannot tell you how it changes your life. You haven't even begun to go through surgeries and treatments, and you're just in a fog. From that day, from that first day when the doctor says, I'm sorry, but we found cancer, or I'm sorry, but, and knowing that you have that in your body, and then having to wait for them to schedule you a surgery, and then you have to go in. For me personally, I had to go in and have 3 tests done before I actually had my first surgery, because I had 2 surgeries after my first surgery. Then they had to go in and stage the cancer. So they had to go back in and stage the cancer. They staged me wrong. They said I was stage 2. Then when they went in to do the surgery, it turned out to be stage 3. And it was just a whole different ballgame of health, and how extensive my treatments were going to be. But all I can say is there's a lot of times I had to wait for Medicaid to approve this or that, or they said they didn't get my form, and then all of a sudden I get this letter saying your Medicaid will end on this date, and it's panic, stress. I'm fighting for my life. People are fighting for their lives, you guys. Like, people are fighting for their lives, for people just to pass you along. Just, they're not dealing with cancer. They're not, wondering if they're going to die next month, or is it going to spread? People don't care unless it happens to them. But all I can say is I would not want to be one of the people who know about the cure, because there's a cure. There's a cure, but if they come out with the cure, how many people are going to live? If they come out with a cure, these insurance companies are going to go broke, because other than just regular high blood pressure, I know there's like Alzheimer's and, lupus and, mental illnesses, which I'm, an advocate for all that. There's so many different diseases, I know, and it's not just cancer, but I have an issue with this big, huge deal that everybody makes, and all these families get together, and they all go down there, get up early in the morning, and they walk. If they're weak, they're even walking, and they're trying to make that finish line, and they're, taking your money, and where's it going? Whose pocket is that money going into? Because after all these years, we're talking years and years that they're doing research for the cure. The cure is already out there. And maybe if you win the lotto, or maybe, if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, maybe you'll be one of the fortunate people, if you do get cancer, to get that. But I'm sorry. I know people who are doing the walk. I did the walk the first few years, and then I was like, wait a minute, like, how long they been doing this Susan B. Komen walk here in Colorado? And how much money are they raising? Billions. And people are dying. People are dying because, not only because they don't have the cure for them, but people are dying because insurance companies aren't paying. Insurance companies, Medicaid is not approving this in time. My friend would have lived, I believe, had she had to be waiting for Medicaid to approve this, and then the Medicaid wouldn't approve her radiation, and then it took another 3 months. We're talking pressure. Every day is a day, that we're fighting for. Every breath. And you got to wait for Medicaid and all these other little low, small insurance companies to approve something that's going to save your life, or, give you extra time, extra life. Treatments make you sick, you guys. The cancer is debilitating in itself. The treatments make you so sick. And it's sad that we have to have the treatments to live, to survive it, if we're fortunate to. I'm going on 7 years. November 26th, it'll be 7 years that I'm cancer-free and counting, because I know I'm going to continue to count. But I just pray and I just hope that one of these days, these people who have the cure will not be able to live with themselves any longer, and that God will open up their minds and their hearts and just peel back the scales in their eyes and deal with them, just deal with them. Maybe they'll feel the conviction, and just like, I couldn't sleep at night. I don't know how these people sleep at night, taking people's money, and we will never hear of the cure. There's a cure. But as far as we know, as far as what they tell us, there's no cure. They're lying, and they're robbing people, and they're giving people false hope. And it angers me. It angers me, and I hope I don't get any negative feedback. I mean, this is just my personal things, my personal feelings, my personal thoughts, my personal opinions. I'm not a doctor. I just know what I've gone through. I just know what I've seen. And I just know how many people I've lost in my life. Cancer's big in my family. My mom's sister had a double mastectomy. Her other sister had melanoma. It just doesn't discriminate. And if you're high risk, sometimes it skips a generation. So your daughters and your sons, guys, get breast cancer, you guys. Males get breast cancer too. This is not just a female disease. Males do get breast cancer too. It's very important for men to get checked as well. And having the buddy check, they used to do the buddy check 9. You don't really hear about. I haven't heard about it recently. Everything kind of just fades away. But October, here's the big announcement: breast cancer awareness, Susan B. Komen walk. Get your shirts, pay your fees, get your pen that you can write with at your desk. But if you have cancer and you don't have insurance, then you won't be sitting at your desk writing, and you'll be, hoping and praying that you're going to be able to get treatments once you lose your insurance, when your job lets you go, or you get too sick to work and they force you to retire. or you're applying for disability because you're so sick, and disability will deny you at least 1 or 2 times before they'll finally approve you, because they want to make sure you're not lying. So you have to see doctors and psychiatrists. And I mean, what is the thought? Where's the logic in the thinking? Where's, like, I can't be the only one sitting here saying, really? Like, I will not give you another penny of my money. I will not give you a penny of my money. I paid for my insurance. Okay, I paid for my treatments because $300 every month went to my insurance. And that wasn't even including copays. My radiation for each day, I had to go 5 days a week, the copay was $50 a week. I'm thousands of dollars. I have medical bills, thousands of dollars, that it'll never get paid. I'll never be able to pay it. And I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, I paid what I could pay, and I did what I could do, and I, praise God, by the grace of God, I survived, and I'm going to continue to survive, and I'm going to continue to be an advocate, and I'm going to continue to speak out, because it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong what they're doing. Do your research. You guys, do your research. Think about it. Sit down and think long and hard. And I know when you have cancer or you have a diagnosis that your brain is just like, you're hanging on every word and every promise and every guarantee and every hopeful thing that's said to you. You're just like hanging on to those things and just wanting to believe that these people care and that there will eventually be a cure. The cure's there already. It's already there. And hopefully one day these people will not be able to live with themselves anymore, and they will somebody will come out from the background of this group of people and say, you know what, I can't sleep at night. Like, I can't do this any longer. I'm seeing people are dying every minute. Somebody's dying right now. Somebody's fighting right now for their life because there's no cure and they don't have insurance. So people die. Take some of the billions of dollars and start taking care of all these people. And if nothing else, if you don't have a cure for them, pay for their treatments, pay for their chemo, pay for their radiation. Stop waiting for insurance companies to approve, this medication or that medication. It's bullshit. And it is like, I don't have words for how disgusting and grimy it is to take people who are dying, take people who have lost their income, who have lost their lives, who have lost loved ones, to take advantage of people. It's wrong. So I just pray for you, whoever is a part of the, raising money and taking money funds. If you are aware that there's a cure, shame on you. And God help you. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the month of October, Race for the Cure month. I think it should be Race for the Cure for every type of cancer, not just breast cancer. Make a big deal. Throw a big party for every other type of cancer. As a matter of fact, I can't say don't raise any more money, but to be honest with you, I don't think, if you never raised any more money from this point on, there's still billions of dollars and billions of dollars that's still there in the bank, in an account somewhere, not being used or being used. I promise you it's being used, but not to treat people with cancer. So take this video for what you will, and those are my thoughts. That's my opinions. I'm the first one to know, I went through 5 years of hell, pure hell, with treatments and surgeries, and the thoughts of dying and the fear of going for blood work every 3 months to see if it came back. It's torture, it's hell, but I've made peace with it, and I know that God has brought me a long way, and God is not going to, I'm not done here on earth. So I just pray for those who are suffering, those who are just getting diagnosed. I pray that, God touches, the minds and the brains and the hands of the surgeons who are treating these people, and softening their hearts, and, letting the doctors and the staff and the CEOs of these companies, in these insurance companies, touches their hearts, softens their hearts, and just wakes up. These people are walking around asleep, stealing money from people, scamming people who are at their mercy. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. That is my rant about, breast cancer awareness. I have nothing to gain from this. I'm not being biased or prejudiced, or, I hope I don't offend anybody. That's not my intention, because like I said, I had cancer. My mom had cancer. My sister died of cancer. I have friends that died of cancer. I have a friend who died of breast cancer 6 years ago. She was 32. She was 32 years old and she died. And these young moms and young dads are leaving children and teenagers to be parentless. So, by the grace of God and with God alone, just have faith, have hope, because the majority of your healing with cancer, the faster you can heal is emotionally, mentally. Try your hardest just to get in a calm state. Meditate the best you can, even if it's just 5 minutes here and there. I know it's like you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's a microscopic dot, and even if you have the mustard size of a mustard seed of faith and hope, that's enough. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. And it'll be a little more upbeat. And I'm sorry that it's just been bugging me. Like, it's been bugging me for months, and now that it's here, I support all the women who are going out there and the men, but I don't support the cause. I support the cause. I just don't support the fact that they're taking money when there's just so much money already there. So thank you guys. Subscribe, give this video a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your bell notifications so you can be notified of my future videos. Thanks guys. Bye.